Will Gen Z forever change the way we look at work? A new viral TikTok has me wondering. Let's check it out.
Hey there, I'm on a mission of just reframing how I think about work. For example, considering my full-time job to actually be my part-time job and life to be my full-time job. So I think the first step in accomplishing this goal is just to really have a mindset shift. So rather than thinking late at night, oh my God, what do I have to do tomorrow? What's on the agenda? What do I need to get done by the end of the day? Trying to instead think about, what am I going to do for myself tomorrow? Am I going to work out? Am I going to talk to a friend? Am I going to go on a walk? This is just one simple step in helping you think about your life a little bit differently.
Wow. Now, I got to tell you, I think I really get what she's saying here. I don't think that this is the lazy, shiftless, snowflake, I don't want to work mentality that I think it's being attacked as by some people. I looked at some of the comments, and there's a lot of my generation, Gen X, certainly boomers, the few that wander onto TikTok. But this is getting a lot of criticism. But when I watch this at face value, I think she's being cute or she's being clever because, let's be honest, she knows what she's doing. She got this thing to go viral. So I think there's a wink here where she starts the video by saying, hey, I'm going to consider my full-time job, my part-time job, and my life my full-time job. I think that's clever. But if you really pay attention to what she's really saying underneath of this, it's the back half of the video where she says, I want to prioritize not just the things that I have to do for my job, but I want to prioritize the things that matter to me in my life. So I actually think this is a very healthy approach, the back half of the video. I'm not sure she really thinks of her full-time job as a part-time job because I don't think that that's actually sensical. You have to make money. You have to earn a living. Now, how you define a full-time job, some people can do a full-time job in 20 hours. Some people can do it in 10. Some people have to do it in 50. These are the facts that we can't ignore. But I think what she's getting at is, what do I want out of my life? Because I think this new generation has watched previous generations suffer through burnout, suffer through constantly changing jobs, trying to find their place. And I think they've looked at it and said, you know what? I want to go about that a little bit differently. And I think they are changing the mindset to say, you know what? I'm willing to do things that I really enjoy, do it on my terms, because I want something more out of life than just working to try to make it to the weekend. And to that, I say, bravo, Gen Z. I think they are, in fact, going to change the mindset of work. Because let's look at previous generations for a second. The history of work, if you look at just the United States, one of the youngest nations in the world, the history of work is it was very industrial. You go knock out your hours, you punch a time clock, you do the same thing for 30, 40 years. That's changed. But even in our modern times, I got to go to college. I got to get a good degree. I got to get a good job. And hopefully I have a good life. And I think this younger generation has seen enough evidence to go, that's not the right formula. I can work from anywhere. I can be entrepreneurial. I can switch and move and explore and discover. And I think that's actually a pretty healthy approach if you're focusing on your uniqueness, what you're good at doing. Those are your power tools, your talents and skills. What you really enjoy doing, that's a thing that creates passion in you. And then the results that matter deeply to you, that's your values, that missional sense about work. But where you do it, how you do it, I think that's up for interpretation. So I'm very, very encouraged by what I see in Gen Z in that they're willing to explore. They're willing and wanting to make their unique contribution. And I applaud this. I don't think in any way that this video is espousing being a flake. I think it's espousing prioritization. Who among us would say, you know what? I've got to go do this work tomorrow, but you know what? I need to exercise. I need to meditate. I need to eat right. I need to spend time with friends. I mean, all of this is a very healthy approach to living your life. I think there is a response from this Gen Z generation to say, you know what? I am not just about what I do for a living. And I think that's healthy. Now, we are seeing an unhealthy response with Gen Z, millennials, my generation, and beyond, where they take this idea, I am more than my work, which is true, you are. However, the unhealthy response is to say, I don't want to work at all. And this anti-work movement is a complete wrong reaction to the idea of, well, I don't want to be burned out. Sure. But you can actually do work that you enjoy, that is purposeful and meaningful to you, and you can have priorities in other areas of your life. And I think this young lady lays out is actually that. Wait a second. The middle ground is what we ought to be doing. It ought not be, I'm going to work and be burned out because that's all I know and that's all I can do and it's just part of life and work sucks. That's wrong. But the other side of, I shouldn't have to work, I deserve a universal income, I should get this and I should get that, and I just believe that work is bad and work is taking advantage of the little people. That's equally wrong. The middle ground is, hey, there is purpose in work. There's meaning that we humans get from creating a positive result, and we should get paid for it, and we should get praised for it. But we can do that work and also have boundaries. Be with our family, be with our friends, travel and explore and see the world. That is also equally possible. And I think this young generation is beginning to put boundaries in place for themselves. Are they unrealistic at times? Sure, but that's just a function of being young. It should not be something that we criticize. I was the same way. You were the same way when you were young. You are idealists, and I think we need a more idealistic culture in today's world to explore and push boundaries. Idealism is not a bad thing if we start out that way and we begin to apply ideals and they become values, and then we live our lives that way. So I applaud this video. Here's an interesting comment. Can we normalize being a consistent employee rather than a top performer? It's a very interesting question. Who says you have to be the top performer, but shouldn't you give your best performance? Your top performance is what I believe is necessary to win in your work life. So normalizing not being the top performer, I think that's already normalized. Look at any sporting event. There are winners and there are losers. If we look in the workplace, it's pretty obvious who the top performers are in any organization. So I think this is a nonsensical question, but it is hinting at, I want to be a quiet quitter. Can't we just glorify being average, just doing the bare minimum? That's what this comment is saying. And sure, if you want to glorify it, fine. But can I tell you something? It's not so easy to swallow. If your mindset is, I'm going to do the bare minimum, just what is required of me, I'm not going to give my best, you will not live your best life. I promise you that. You'll be accepting average. And at the end of that life is a whole bunch of regret. I've been doing this for a few years, and I get frustrated when coworkers try and make me feel guilty for having boundaries. Why are you letting other people control how you feel about decisions that matter to you? It's your life. Who cares what they think? I love this. Last spring, I started thinking of my full-time job as one of my clients. Now I'm fully self-employed like I dreamt of. Mindset shifts work. Absolutely true. This is all about what future do you want and what must you do now to get the next that you desire. And how about this one? Corporate America is shaking right now. I absolutely agree, because you have a bunch of leaders who only know how to think in the box, and they're trying to penalize people to come back into the office instead of motivating people to come back into the office. How do you do that? Finding out what rhythm makes you tick, what results that matter to you, and then putting you in a position to do that and showing you a ladder for personal and financial growth. Corporate America hasn't figured it out yet. And as a result, Gen Z is freaking them out.